Normally I do top badge, up and comer, top badge or VIP. Oh, that's cool. Thanks to the 8 ball. Very nice, very cool. My sources say no. They're not gonna drop a dragon. I don't know. I don't think so. What's up, bro? What's up, Cat? Thank you for the peppers, everyone. Hey, Tony. Hey, everybody. Andrea, it's good to see you. Thank you. Haas, what's going on? Good to see everybody. D Money, Marley, Johnny, Josh. All right, everyone. This is the very short portion that I've got that I'll interact with you all. Once I crack into the stream or the show, I'm pretty much off limits. I don't interact with the stream. So if you got anything else like pre-show Q&A you want to do, we can do it right now. If you're interested in having someone get on the show, you want someone to come on the show, go ahead and shoot me a message. Deadpool, we got to get you hooked up with this, dude. Hold on, let's take care of that real quick. Good, perfect. So our lineup tonight, one more time, everyone, if you're just now joining and you're wondering, hey, what's the order? Who am I here to see tonight? So the order tonight is Deadpool, Hashi. We've also got Yogi Bear. So make sure you stay tuned for everybody. Everybody's got an interesting story. Everyone brings something different to the table, and I'm excited for each person to get to know you and for you to get to know them. So on that note, we're at a solid 100, rate at 903. I like it. I like it. I like that. You guys are punctual. So you ready to get started, yeah? Get started? Like a blah. I wish I had like a buzzer or something I could hit like, let's get started. And like little things like pop out, little confettis or whatever. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, everyone. Welcome to Suited Up. My name's Chris Casper. I'm your host for this show. We do it every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Every week we bring on people who are making an impact on the app, but you may not have heard of them before. We bring on top streamers that you may have seen, but you thought, I'm going to pass by that stream. Now's your chance to catch them in full exposure. Get to know who they are, what makes them tick, what they're passionate about, what they're interested in, what they do in their real lives, what the app has meant to them. Let's run quick over. I'm not the only show on the app. There's a few others. I always take some time to highlight the fellow show people that we've got here. Much love and respect to them. They all work very, very hard every week for each of you. So I want to give a little time to each of them. So obviously Mondays at 8 p.m. It's Painting Night with Mia. She's going to get down with some Swarovski crystals. She's going to do that brush stroke, okay? It's the finesse. Thank you so much for the rose. That's 8 p.m. 8 p.m. every Monday night. That's Painting Night with Mia. What else do we have? Thank you for the roses. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Allie and Ashley are going to show you how to do some squats, okay? They're going to show you how to do those curls for the girls and get that beach bod ready. Thank you for the chili peppers. Beach bod ready, all right? We're in the middle of summer, but it's not too late. They've got tips and tricks. All right? They got tips and tricks. So check them out. That's 10 p.m. Tuesday nights with Allie and Ashley. Wednesday nights, you know what it is. You're here right now. Suited Up with Chris. I'm Chris. We're Suited Up. We're a suit thing. People talk show style thing. It's fun, right? Right. Okay, cool. Thursdays, doubleheader. You get 2 shows on Thursdays. So on Thursdays, it's Talent Team Thursday. That's where Meet Me Official comes down. They come with announcements. They let you know about the upcoming contests. They let you know about who got their top badge the prior week. Bust myths sometimes. Go over gossip. It's an opportunity to have some FaceTime with people who work at corporate and get to know the app a little bit more. Highly recommend checking out Talent Team Thursday. That's Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursdays at 8 p.m. though, it's Gore Couture with our girl Carmen Sandiego. What's she do? She does gore makeup, special effects makeup. This week she had eyeballs growing out of her face, right? It was eyeballs. She's got appendages. She's got a Honda Civic spoiler coming out the back of her head sometimes. It's crazy. You never know what you're gonna get with her. So check her out. That's Thursdays at 8 p.m. Gore Couture. Check it out, right? Fridays though. Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Try This with Donna Diamond. Try This with Donna Diamond it's a little bit of this, is a little bit of that. She's gonna do some dares. She's gonna do some things that are exciting. If you go in there, you can influence the crazy antics that she gets into. I highly recommend checking out Try This with Donna Diamond. That's every Friday at 9 p.m. And finally, last but absolutely not least, the self-titled most electrifying show on Meet Me, Unstoppable Idol. That's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. So, what goes on Unstoppable Idol? It's Meet Me's talent show. That's where if you are looking to display and have a platform, you want a stage, you've got it. Audition for Unstoppable Idol. There's a new season every month. Get on the show and sing your heart out. Do some comedy, do some ventriloquism, vape, blow smoke tricks. There's a little bit of everything. Check it out. That's Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Finally, let's talk about the contest that we've got coming up. This week. So one more time, it's another epic weekend contest. We've seen this one many times. You know the drill. It's this time though. It's major prizes. They're paying out to the top 28 streamers. Top 28 streamers. Top prize receiving $2,500. All right, and they're paying out. It's top 40. Am I not reading my terms right? 29th through 5th. Oh, yes. Check out the terms at the top. I run through these all week. This week I didn't write it down. I thought I had already memorized it. The 1 week I don't memorize it, you catch me. All right, it's at the top. It's at the top. It's at the top. All right, check it out. All right, everyone, let's get cracking into it. So for those of you who are joining tonight, thank you very much. As we do these conversations, as we do these interviews, I do not interact with the audience. The guests in the box do not interact with the audience. Thank you so much for coming to support your favorites. They know that you're here. They love you. They support you. They're thankful for it. But during the show, it's a conversation. It's much like something you would see on a late night show. It's here to have an interview and get to know these people. So for our first guest tonight, all right, you may have seen him in the comic books. This is a first. This is a first. You may have seen our camera guy had to move. You may have seen him in the comic books. You may have seen him on the big screen. But tonight, you're going to see him here. Our first guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only top streamer, Mr. Deadpool. What's going on, my guy?
Oh, well, hello there, Chris Casper. And hello, everybody that showed up tonight. My God, I just appreciate the out of you. Oh God, what was that? Hello, what's going? Oh, what the mother and the mother monkey? What is this, Chris? I didn't know I was gonna get censored on your fucking show. What is this? I didn't know you had that.
We came.
What is that?
Deadpool. We knew.
Oh my. Oh Jesus.
We knew that you don't pepper it lightly, and so I'm prepared, and I thank you for that.
I didn't even do it. I think it's I think it's on your side. I mean, what in the actual is going on around here? Anyway, carry on, Chris. I really like I like your background. You've got a really nice magical. Yeah, it's very nice. Makes me a little moist. I've got to be honest. Anyway, carry on.
Right in the palms.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Obviously. Deadpool, there's a lot to talk about here. You're a very unique streamer. Now, for those who haven't met you, those who don't know you, I've been calling you Deadpool, but how would you like to introduce yourself tonight to everyone?
Oh my goodness, that's a very good question, Chris. I mean, it's very introspective. It makes one look inside oneself and really wonder, what am I exactly? What shall I be called? What do I like to be called by? Well, I've got many names, Chris. I go by Deadpool, I go by DP, I go by Daddy Pool, I go by Daddy, I go by Wade, I go by Mr. Wilson, I go by Boss, I go by Bitch. Oh, sorry, that one slipped out. I don't know any of those names, Chris, really.
Okay, so for tonight, I'll go with just Deadpool since we can see it on the screen, if that's good with you.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Perfect. Deadpool. Better than anyone, you know your own story. So for those who have never heard of Deadpool or seen you, obviously you're very famous. But who haven't seen you before, are you a superhero? Are you a guy wearing a costume? What are you?
Okay, let me clear this up for all of you that are that are paying attention right now and actually watching this live stream. Those of you that are lingering and fingering or lurking and jerking, just hold on 1 second while I tell this story. Well, my story starts a long time ago, Chris. I was born a young man in a poor side of town. Wait, let's fast forward a little bit. I'm an anti-hero, okay? I'm not actually a superhero. I'm not a villain. I'm somewhere in between. See, I fight for the side of good, but sometimes people get hurt along the way and a bit nuts, okay? I've got two voices in my head that are constantly talking and arguing, so it makes things a little bit hard to keep up with stuff. And so, sometimes things get a little out of hand, and that can't be my fault. But anyway, is there another? Did I answer that? I don't
Yeah,
even know what's
no,
going on.
you you have a great ability to take the conversation and run with it. So I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, okay.
I'll just push you along, in the right
Oh, I
direction.
like being pushed. Yeah, as long as you're behind me, Chris. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
In a
Pum, pum.
supporting way.
Final, final.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a Deadpool. You mentioned you're an anti-hero and people get hurt along the way. Do you get hurt ever in the process?
Oh, yes. Well, I've kind of desensitized myself to the pain. You see, I was in the same Weapon X program that Wolverine was in, so I've got that advanced healing factor. So I tend to heal pretty quickly, although I do end up with baby legs or a baby hand from time to time. But let me tell you, Chris, it does feel much bigger in the baby hand. Yeah, it's like touching it with a KFC spork. I'm not joking.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the sport? Should you just go with a fork or a spoon? Or
Well, I think the spork is the future, Chris. I mean, if you really think about it, we started off with our hands. We developed to, chopsticks. Then we got, the fork and the spoon. I think the spork is the future. I think it's what I think everybody's going to use a spork in, the 2025 era, somewhere around there.
definitely. So you're a
Yeah.
trendsetter, really.
I think that it's important to really represent the spork. It doesn't get the credit it deserves, and I'm a big fan of sporking. So that's uh, that's a whole other thing altogether. We can't really go into that.
I like it. I like it. And again, you've got your button to keep us safe. So, or I'm sorry, I've got the button to keep us safe, right? So, Deadpool, how do you go from being a Crime Stopper anti-hero to finding yourself on the internet? How did this start?
Okay, well, this is again another long story. You see, a lot of people get me confused with Ryan Reynolds, the actor from the movie. Well, that's a whole other thing. He's an actor, guys. I'm actually the original Deadpool. You know, the guy that crawled out of the comic books at the end of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, stop by your local comic book shop and support them and pick up that story. So yeah, I found myself here, and hey, a guy's got to make money, and I mean, we got all this crazy stuff in politics and stuff like that. I mean, I got to be careful killing people across the nation. So I resorted to this. It keeps the lights on. Blind Al, she's got tuna for days in there.
Okay, okay. So you're a businessman and a streamer and a Crime Stopper. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah, I'm a man of many hats, Chris.
I find it. So Deadpool, do you remember the first time that you went live on this app?
Oh, I'm on fire! Sorry. I thought I was on fire. What'd you say?
I said, do you remember the first time you went live on this app?
Yeah, I do remember the first time I went live on this app. I think for about the first couple months, uh, I had damaged my mask, so I don't know if you know this, Chris, but I kind of look like a testicle with teeth under this mask, like a house fire that's been in another house fire. I look like Freddy Krueger face fucked a topographical map of Utah, Chris. So it's no good. So I went black screen and I used a star machine and projected it on my ceiling. And I would just talk. This is even before diamonds, Chris. I come from a time when diamonds weren't even a thing. I'm old as dirt, Chris. And so back then, well, it didn't really matter if you were showing your face or not. I just would project the star machine and talk dirty to some of these cute little bastards. Didn't that guy? Yeah.
Okay. I feel like the black screen was a public service, to save us.
It
right?
was. It was, Chris. It definitely was.
You mentioned our guy Ryan Reynolds earlier. It was like a little bit of heat, a little animosity towards him. Has he been doing a good job portraying you?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, he's one of those method actors, Chris, and he moved into my basement for 3 months trying to get this voice down. I think he does a horrible job, and I have a much better ass. It's like two ripe tomatoes in a shower cap, but I digress. I guess he does an okay job in the movies, but what really chaps my ass is I haven't seen a single red cent from any of those films. Not one. Yeah, I don't get any royalties. I don't get any book deals. Absolutely nothing. And then everybody's running around talking about how Ryan Reynolds is me, and I'm just over here just like, well, what the hell happened to the source material? What happened to me, guys? What the hell happened to me? Me. You know what I mean? It's all about me.
And now you've got to grind here. And now you've got to grind here, Deadpool.
That's the way it goes.
We
It's the way
feel
it goes.
what would you say is the biggest difference between the real Deadpool and the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool?
Oh, well, I don't think in the Deadpool movies that they really illustrate the fact that I do have two voices in my head. I mean, that's a huge part in the comic books, Chris. I don't know if you've ever picked up a Deadpool comic book, but there's always two boxes to illustrate what I'm thinking in my head. Those are the two voices. There's a yellow box and there's a white box. And those are two separate entities that live inside my mind. And it kind of really adds to the whole progression of my entire storyline. They kind of left that part out. I even refer to my voices as voice one or yellow box or white box because, I know I'm in a comic book. I'm one of those wall breakers, Chris.
Yeah. Break the fourth wall, right? Okay, I was
Right.
curious. I was always curious, Deadpool, because I've seen you talk about it, and I thought, what's this guy's deal? Why is he against that guy Ryan? But now that I know that you haven't been paid, we've got some problems.
I'm saying, Chris. I mean, I think I deserve at least a little bit, right? I didn't. This guy's writing books. He's making memes. This guy's getting famous off of memes, and here I am sweating my ass off on the Chris Casper show. You know what I mean? Trying to get people to pay attention. Pay attention. Anyway, hey Chris, can I ask? I want to turn things on its head a little bit. Can I ask you a question? I want to interview you for a second. I want to poke you with the sport.
You're not the first person to try and do this. I've
Oh.
not had it happen though, but let's do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well,
Throw one. Throw one.
well, I do. I break rules, Chris. I'm a big rule breaker, so I'm just gonna squeeze this one in. Uh, do you play Magic the Gathering? Did I see that on your Instagram profile? Did I see a Magic the Gathering box of cards? Are you a little geek yourself? Are you hiding your geekiness? Wait a second. I want to see this geek face. Tell me more about your games of Magic. How much mana are you tapping for this show right now?
Deadpool, I have a secret. I have a secret. I
Okay.
might be a stalker of yours, and I might be playing a little dumb tonight, if that's okay with you.
Oh, well, I do like a good stalker. Are you the one that's been hanging out in my bushes outside my window? Is that what's going on?
No. The rafters, the rafters. The other one's the
Oh,
guy.
okay, gotcha, gotcha.
Deadpool, do you have any hobbies besides busting down criminals and playing the good guy sometimes? Do you have any
Oh
hobbies?
yeah, I've got all kinds of hobbies. Let's see here. I like Legos. I like assembling models of guns. I like going balls deep in stuffed unicorns. I like, let's see here. I like oiling my weapon, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you follow me, Chris?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, so that's a good lineup of hobbies though. You mentioned your unicorn. I was gonna bring that up. Who
Yeah,
you
yeah. This is Glitter. She's been a part of my show for a very long time. She's very special. But she's not the only unicorn I've got. I've got a few others too, but this one here holds a little special place in my heart. I mean, she is always just a little bit horny. You know what I mean? Because she's got a horn.
she's a,
She's a unicorn, Chris.
she's a nice bank of memories and
Yeah,
pastimes. Right.
right.
Deadpool, if you could pick another superhero to hang out with, I'm sorry, anti-hero, but for the sake of the conversation and for those who aren't familiar with the terminology,
Sure.
who would you like to hang out with? Who would you say on with?
Well, anybody that follows my story knows I've got a little bit of a crush. Yes. I as let's go with Captain America. He is one of the only Marvel superheroes that actually respects me, even though he's all about language. I don't get it, but he does. Look, Google it. I'm looking. Google that. What's that? What'd you say?
Why does Captain America like you?
I don't even know, but he respects me. It's one of those untold Marvel things. It's really he's a little bit crazy. I mean, by God, the guy's been alive since the 1930s. Super Soldier Serum got frozen in ice. Holy shit, he's got to be a little nuts.
Yes, Deadpool. I think one of the most impressive things about you being the real Deadpool is that you're able to recall so much about yourself. I think it impresses just about anyone, even the most diehard followers of you. How are you able to recall someone? I mean, how far invested are you in your own self?
Well, honest, Chris. I've actually been collecting comic books pretty much my entire life. I had a huge collection passed down from my dad, which I closet, and I've been reading those bastards since the mid '90s, early '90s. Ever because see, I'm pretty old, so I go a little ways back. I'm a '90s kid. Okay, you got to respect the '90s kids. So I read those bastards all growing up, and I was there at the very beginning of my story, obviously. So I even have an issue of my very first appearance. I should have had it out for this show, but yeah, I've been following my story for a very long time, as well as most of the X-Men. You know, those weird Boy
Yeah,
Scouts headed up by that strange, bald, Heaven's Gate looking motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, definitely. Well, that's an interesting topic because being such a diehard follower, knowing so much about yourself, what do you think about the current state of comics? Is it alive and well? Are the big screen
Oh, you know, I
in the
think it's trying. Here's the problem, Chris, is that the movies although I do like the Marvel movies and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they are somewhat diluting the original art of the comic book because they're not following the original story. They go off the rails a little bit and they don't really follow the original source material, which is really what's most important. What the fuck is that? Uh, Hazy? Try. I don't even know what just happened. Did I black out? Am I having a stroke, Chris?
We're good. We're good. No, keep going.
Okay. Okay, good. I really think that the comics hit a pinnacle kind of there in the 90s, and then they kind of fell apart. And unfortunately, with the passing of Stan Lee, although he hasn't had a whole lot of guidance in the Marvel comics for a while, he's just been kind of a figurehead. Uh, I think we could be headed in the right direction. We just need to be careful with these movies because they could really fuck up how people feel about the original stories themselves. I mean, if you actually get on eBay and purchase the original Infinity Gauntlet series, where they go through the entire thing that they just did in the movies, you will be blown away by the story. I know the movies were decent too, but I mean, come on. It's all about the source material.
That's good. And you obviously know it because you're you. And so anyone who comes here can find you and talk about it, which I'd like to progress into now. So you're a streamer, you got to keep the lights on. Like you said, you can't be busting butts all the time. So if someone comes to a Deadpool stream, beyond obviously the physical appearance and the knowledge, what's someone going to get?
Well, basically, Chris, what I'm trying to do here on Meet Me is really what X Force is all about. You may have seen some of my people from time to time with the X Force tag. What we're all trying to do is push positivity, Chris. We're trying to eliminate the negative and accentuate the positive. See, a lot of people have shitty stuff going on in real life, and they come on this app to somewhat kind of get away from it, to escape it a little bit, and to have a good time and to hang out with friends. And sometimes there's shitty things that happen on this app with shitty people. So we're trying to be the good ones, to kind of outnumber the bad ones, and to basically just spread the message of having a better day, having forgetting about your worries, even if it's just for a little bit, and laughing. I love to make people laugh, Chris. Making people laugh is like a drug to me. I could snort it up and just lay on a pillow like Richard Pryor and geek out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Have you always considered yourself to be a funny guy, or prior to the accident, were you a different person? Does the
You know,
outfit change a bit of who you are?
well, to be honest, Chris, I've always been a bit of a class clown. I was always trying to make people laugh. That's what damaged people do, right?
Insightful, deep and
Mhm.
insightful. I like it. I like- Uh, when are you typically live? If people are interested in what they're seeing right now, what time, what day is there a specific routine that you have?
Okay, so I tend to try to be on at nighttime. I try to aim for the people who are getting off of work and are ready to chill out and maybe have a few laughs. So I'm usually around 10 p.m., not between 10 and 11 p.m. But I have had little phases where I go on during the day. It's kind of random sometimes. It really depends on if I have the time and availability to jump on here and hang out with these awesome people.
Right, right, right. Are there any things that are important to you? I know that you mentioned that spreading positivity, downplaying the negativity that can exist on here. Are there any things that you're passionate about besides that you'd like to share or talk about?
Painting.
Painting.
Asses. Yeah, I like to paint asses of all sizes. Chunky ones, skinny ones. I don't know. It's just something about the figure of the ass, the human ass. Just has something about it that just draws me to it. And I paint male ones, I paint female ones. Sometimes I paint animal ones. It just depends. I have a really nice hippo ass that I painted last week. It's around here somewhere. I'd have to find it though.
Do you actually do that on your live stream, or is that more of a?
You know what, Chris? Some painting is actually coming to the Deadpool show. You just got to hang tight. I've done a lot of crazy things in my live stream, Chris. When I first started actually showing myself, I was doing cooking with Deadpool, for God's sakes. I was making grilled cheese sandwiches for these people. So you never know what's going to happen on the Deadpool show. Anything to kind of try to inspire a laugh.
You got to keep the lights on, like you said.
That's right. Exactly.
What is the future for Deadpool? You mentioned, you spoiled a little bit that you have some painting coming up. What can people expect, or what can they look forward to come from you?
Actually, Chris, I have been working on a big project for my live stream for quite a while, for a couple of months. I've got a really cool game I'm going to be bringing to my live stream. I don't know. I'm a ball. We're talking about balls now. What? Huh? Sorry. No, yeah. I'm going to make a game, Chris. It's going to be like a board game on my wall behind me. I've been talking about it for a little while now, releasing little hints here and there, but it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of funny stuff that's going to be going on. And yeah, there's actually going to be, maybe some rewards, maybe some personal videos from Deadpool, like happy birthday songs and I don't know, maybe small greetings to your loved one, or maybe I'll appear with nipple clamps attached to a car battery covered in motor oil. You never know.
Okay, and it sounds like a way to give back to your viewer base in that way.
Yes, that's exactly right.
What does your viewer base mean to you? What has
Oh,
the impact been of this
well,
community?
let me tell you, Chris, there's nothing more important on this app than your viewer base. The people that come into your live streams are the most important thing on this app. The diamonds mean jack shit. They really do. If it wasn't for these people coming into the live stream, I would just be an adult in a fucking mask talking to my cell phone, Chris. That really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? A grown man in a costume just talking to his cell phone in an empty room? That's pretty weird, Chris.
Like
That's pretty weird.
that's kind of like a normal night, I would say, right? Like
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. Good point.
sometimes you got to put on your stretchy pants and let loose. So
You're damn right, Chris.
cool. Deadpool, is there anything else that you'd like to share or talk about while you're here?
You know what, Chris? I just want to appreciate you having me on the show. And I know we're not supposed to talk to the people in the chat, but thank you guys for fucking coming. You're all amazing. All of my X-Force people and all you other guys that are watching Chris Casper. Thank you so much for being awesome. X-Force. Chris, thanks again so much for having me.
Yeah, I've got one more question for you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The bigger one.
Oh,
Ish.
you're going to give me the big one, huh? Okay, give me the big one, Chris.
Sometimes I disappoint. If you were to try and take this a step further, do you think that being at something like Playlist, VidCon, a Comic-Con of some sort, is that something that you have any interest in being part of?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to be able to go to things like that. I'm trying to free up more of my time lately. I've been extremely busy. I deal with a lot of stuff outside of this app. So I've been trying to free up more time, and if I ever got free time, yeah, I would go whore myself out at Playlist and do whatever. Can I get a spot like under a bridge or something? Can I bring a tarp and like sleep in a box nearby?
Florida has nice weather. Hanging outside's not too bad. Maybe you can
Nice.
vagabond around and cut it. It might not be too bad.
How many blowjobs would I have to give truckers to get from here to Florida?
Just one really good one, probably.
Oh, okay, good. Well, thanks for summing that up for me.
Yeah. Trying to set the expectations so that you don't have to sweat it.
Right.
Uh,
That's right,
actually,
Chris.
Deadpool, you've been awesome. Your character. Everyone, if you've enjoyed this conversation with Deadpool, honestly, one of the best class acts, and I mean that, on this app, go ahead and give this guy a favorite. Deadpool, thank you so much for coming
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
on. Excellent job. Excellent job. Everyone, that's Deadpool. If you enjoyed that, it's been blown up and he grows baby legs. What's more interesting than that? You're about to find out. You're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you tonight to our up-and-comer personal friend of mine, someone definitely that needs to be on your favorites list. Please, everyone, come and check our good friend, Mr. Hashi. Hello, sir.
Hello. I have a suit
Fantastic.
on. I have a suit on.
We're 2 for 2 for suits tonight.
I have a suit.
I love it. We've got some feedback. Do you have your headphones?
I do have my headphones in. I'll lower my volume.
Okay, cool. Are you still able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. Oh, perfect. Everything sounds great. Excellent. Hashi, let's cut right into it, my friend.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to unpack. I don't want to unpack all of it because I want to give the sizzle, but we're gonna deliver the steak later. The steak's in your life, but we're gonna give them the sizzle, a little bit of sizzle. So, Hashi, for those who haven't met you before, will you please introduce yourself?
I'm Hashi.
I think we might have some sound issues. And give it some ones in the comment if you can hear Hashi. Can you please give me
You
some
got the
ones?
mic up? Did I lower it too far? I have headphones in.
It looks like the majority of people can hear you.
I have headphones in. I went halfway between. Does that help?
For those of you who can't hear Hashi, just leave, come back. I'll go ahead and pause the conversation for 3 seconds. Your goatee looks nice. Oh yeah, that's better. Would you like to give us some intermission music?
I was giving it 3 seconds.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay, so Hashi, you're Hashi. Hashi, where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and originally I'm from Oklahoma. I'm an Okie. I grew up in Oklahoma, and I graduated high school, and I left immediately. I went to college, and I've been back twice. I know. Sorry, I gotta ignore the viewers. I grew up in Oklahoma. I born and raised there. 17 years old. Went to college, and I've been back probably a total of 2 weeks if you put all the days together. Um, I I left.
Yeah. Oklahoma seems miserable, is it?
It was a challenging place to be. It's Oklahoma.
Especially with a young man with dreams. So Hashi, let's crack into a little bit of that. You are one of the most diverse talents that exists on this app. You are an actual diamond in the rough. Can you give us the 30,000-foot take of some of the talents or instruments? I mean, honestly, you're fantastic at this. We don't need to rehearse it. Just let it rip, my friend. What are some of these talents that you've got?
Well, first of all, I do want to say that I'm used to being interviewed, but I'm not used to being interviewed by myself. Usually I'm talking about an event I'm doing or a festival I'm running or something like that. So it's a little weird to talk about myself because I usually tell people don't talk about yourself. So I started performing when I was 5, singing in front of audiences of about 200. By 8, I was a concert pianist out performing and doing that kind of thing, and I was doing professional theater and in traveling shows. I started when most people were just thinking about multiplication. I was getting a paycheck, so I had a very different kind of upbringing. It was a very different childhood than most people. So to have a career when people are in school, it's different. Yeah.
Who is influencing that? Where did that come from to be so young and be inspired to?
That's a great story. I'm a church boy. For those of you guys, I'm a church boy. I grew up in church. My choir director at church was a piano teacher, voice teacher, and she said, "You know what? He needs to be in lessons." And so I studied with her for about 2 or 3 years, and she said, "You passed me. You have to go to somebody else now. And I was like, okay. And so, but she pushed me. My family are not singers, musicians, anything. My mother and father, I do not want to hear them sing. They're tone deaf. So I don't know where I got it. I'm kind of the, the weird person in the family that does this kind of stuff, and they come to see shows, but they're not. They're like, we don't know where he gets it. I don't know.
Okay. How did that progress for you? So 6, 8 years old, you're already doing music in elementary, being a paid performer. Do you remember what your first gigs were?
Yeah, one of my first piano gigs was for a country club. They were having a Valentine's Day party. So these were all adults having a date night kind of thing for Valentine's Day. And all the kids stayed home. Who was the entertainer? This 7-year-old playing piano was playing all of these classic songs while they danced around the dance floor and did their thing. And I was this little kid playing the piano at
That's
their
incredible.
date night.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I can imagine that they were equally impressed, but also thought it was kind of
It
cute.
was, it was cute. I was a cute kid in the corner playing the songs. Yeah. So,
There you go. All right. Let's fast forward a bit. What happens
yeah.
over the next 10 years? Because many people have a passion for music or a passion for the arts. It's one thing to study it, it's another thing to make a career and living out of it. So, how did you
Right.
translate from doing that at a young age to progressing into being an actual professional?
Well, I decided I was definitely going to do college. I could have done a short game and not done that. What happened was in middle school I started opera training. So I started doing bel canto training, which is a traditional opera, Italian opera way of learning how to sing. And I had a lovely voice coach who was German, and she would travel all over Austria and Germany during the summer, and during the year she would coach me. And I had a terrible car accident when I was 16 years old, and I basically have my skull is fractured like this. So I must have a second jaw, and I have a steel plate here that holds my skull together. Um, and so that ended my opera career because I don't
Wow.
have the residence out here. So I can still do, Broadway and all that other kind of stuff, but having a opera residence is very different. So I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll teach. Maybe I'll keep performing. Let's try something. But I had to do a career change at a senior in high school and decide, okay, the path I was heading on is different now. So, and on top of that, Chris, sorry. On top of that, I have brain damage right here that allows me to no longer have short-term memory. So I was the kid who didn't have to study, and at senior in high school, I had to learn how to study for the first time,
Wow.
which was
Wow.
crazy. Sorry.
I want to dial back just for a moment. You mentioned the accident. I have from our primer notes. Can you emphasize the severity of just how far the school rallied? I mean, what actually happened with this accident? Because it wasn't just like you took a trip to the hospital and had to have surgery. It
Right.
was
Well, I performed that morning, and I was traveling to another city to perform in the afternoon, sort of late afternoon. So I thought, well, I'll just drive over early. I had taken some non-drowsy allergy medication and fell asleep at the wheel. So I went off the side of the road and hit the embankment. I went up in the air 40 feet, came down on the trunk, and then went down to a 60-foot ravine, rolling it. Apparently, I broke my arm and both of my legs. I crawled out of the embankment, apparently to the street, and flagged down a car with the one arm. I don't know how it happened. Adrenaline is amazing, I guess. So I went to the hospital. I had 3 surgeries within the first 24 hours. They lifelined me to a place that could get a neurosurgeon, as well as a plastic surgeon, as well as somebody else that could deal with the other injuries I had. To have all 3 surgeries happen simultaneously because they were nervous of whether I would be able to make it. This happened on Sunday. On Tuesday, they canceled school. They canceled all of the schools in my town so they could come and pay respects because they figured I wouldn't make it the week. So they canceled school. This is elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, the entire town. They so that people could come to say basically goodbye. So I had this book of all these people who came to see me. I didn't know. I was so bad, Chris, that my sister, she was sitting next to me. I couldn't swallow my own saliva, so she was pulling the saliva out of my mouth, and my teeth were like this when I would breathe.
Wow.
And so I probably looked like a nightmare. I don't remember any of it, obviously, because I was doped up on morphine. But but they canceled school and they said, you know what, go say goodbye, go say goodbye. And
Yeah.
I lived. I lived.
Here you are. Yeah, and so that, I mean, it's not something that I want to celebrate and say, "Yay, look how badly you've been hurt." But I do think it's an incredible story, and wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to talk about that. How was it going from believing that you may have had a career in opera to then having to change and say, "I need to redirect my talent"? Was that difficult for you?
Well, not necessarily because I grew up doing musical theater. My first professional show was Annie Get Your Gun. I played Little Jake in that show, and that was a great show. And then in middle school, I decided to pick up percussion. So I did the marching band and all that kind of stuff as well. And so I had multiple things I could head to, but the opera was a plan. So I just had to veer off and go, what are my options? So I just went a different route. I auditioned for schools. I auditioned for 7 different universities, just trying to see what the offers were and where I was going to head. But I knew I was going to study performance because I knew I know how to perform. So let's see what else they can put on me and make me work harder. So I have a
Excellent.
degree in performance.
So continue on with the story. I mean, this is the life of Hashi. I don't know that many people have a story like it. So where does it go from there?
So I got my degree and I left and I was like, you know what? Now I've been doing music for so many years. Maybe it's time to do something else. When I was in high school, I was the preppy kid with I did the student council and I was overachiever and president of this and all that kind of stuff. Probably why they canceled school, because it was, people knew me.
You're in
Um,
a community.
I'm, I'm an extrovert. I know there's a lot of introverts on this app. I am not an introvert. Okay.
No. What you? No.
So, so after high school, I thought, okay, well, after college, I decided, hey, let's try maybe taking activism a different route, maybe see what I can do as far as community organizing. So I studied organizational development, became an organizational development consultant. Then I started working as a community organizer. And then I joined a think tank in DC. So twice a year, I would go to DC and be on a think tank to basically shape policy to make show some change in the country. And I did
Mhm.
that for 3 or 4 years.
Wow. And that was the beginning of, was that the beginning of some of your political involvement or your at least
Well, that's an interesting story too. I actually held political office at the age of 18. There was a political office open in the town where I was going to university, and I had just done worked on a campaign, and they said, "Hey, there's an office open, and there's nobody in this Democrat running. You should give it a go." I ran and won, so I held political office at like 18 years old, which is
what were
crazy.
your
I had just
your
voted, and
responsibilities?
now I am running political office. It was a
I
precinct
want,
committeeman. It wasn't
I
an
want to
amazing
imagine
it wasn't
I
what.
want to imagine the smear campaign against you, like he may have been in an accident, but how
Well,
has
the
like the
funny thing
Hosh
is
political smear campaign?
the funny thing is I went to school in Illinois, and so nobody knew me there other than I was a student at Millikan. So I had a pretty clean slate. I was just this boy from Oklahoma, and that there was, if you're going to vote Democrat, you're going to vote for me. And so I just kind of, it was an easy election. So I
So
just kind of
cool.
won.
All right. Well, there's that piece. Time I'd be like, let's talk about, are you holding political office? But there's way too much more to unpack. So let's keep going with your story. You graduate, or had you graduated at this point? But you said you wanted to explore something else besides
Yeah, well,
music.
we kind of backtracked because the political office was when I was in college. So I was doing that as well as being a college student. After college, I decided to be the political activist, and so I went that route. I got a chance to I was invited to the White House during the Clinton administration and welcomed as one of the top 25 activists working for social change in the country. And that was pretty cool. It was in the Indian Treaty Room, which is cool because I'm part Native American. So that was kind of cool to be in the Indian Treaty Room of the White House. I have some offline stories I can share about that at playlist about my time in the White House that I probably shouldn't show on a
I mean, if
public
Clinton
forum.
was in the White House, you're lucky to be alive, really, as of recent events, anyway. So what is the Epstein joke? Okay.
Anyway,
So, so
commercial break.
you,
Okay, there we go.
at what point though was the community involvement integrated? I mean, how did you possibly find time to do all of these things? This is
I
like
took a break. I took a break. I've been performing for so long. I just decided I was going to take a break.
Mhm.
And so I stopped performing. I was attending things, but I just like, you know what? I had been doing it for all my life. So I thought, you know what? I'll try something different. Um, when Clinton was not, when Clinton got out of office and Bush was elected, I decided, okay, my political career is done. I'm going to step out and go back to the arts. So
Okay.
it was deciding whether to move to Canada or go back into the arts. So I decided to go back into the arts.
Okay. Run with the story. Take it away. So what's the next step for you? Bush administration starts. Hashi says time to start performing and doing the arts again. So where does that path take you?
Well, you know, I got back into the theater. I got a church job as a music director. I went back to conducting orchestras again, which I hadn't done for a number of years, which was cool. Started voice coaching again. Started traveling as a performer again, and I've been busy ever since. I run 4 different festivals every year. One of them is an art festival, one of them is a film festival, one of them is a theater festival, and one of them is a music festival. So they're kind of all over the place, um, and I keep pretty busy with those. And then I have a pretty solid performing career as well as directing. I over the last 15 years, I've directed over 500 shows between theater performances or cabarets or that kind of stuff. So I kept pretty busy. Um, when I joined the app last year and started following people, I was just a supporter for people that were on the app, and then I did 2 productions of West Side Story this spring, and I decided after that, you know what, I'm going to give streaming a chance and try to and see where that goes. So I've actually put a lot of things on hold, except for the festivals I run. I put a lot of other things on place, just on temporary hold, while I give the streaming a chance because I really am I'm starting to really enjoy it, and so I thought, okay, this is the next step.
So among those productions that you've done, are there any memorable ones or ones that stick out to you?
Yeah, there's a few. I did a production of I've done Jesus Christ Superstar 4 times, 4 different productions, but one time I did it. It was right before 9/11, and that production I I was assembling my orchestra because I was the music director for it as well as the choreographer, and so I was getting my musicians together, and I got an email from a guy. Actually, he called the theater first, and then got my email address. So he emailed me. He was on the original cast recording playing trombone, and he said, "Hey, can I be in your orchestra?" And I was like, hell yeah. He was on the original album. I was like, how fun is that? I mean, it was years ago, obviously, but I thought, how cool would that be to have him in the thing? And so I said, absolutely. I said, I've already done my budget. I can't actually afford to hire a new musician. He said, I didn't ask for money. I just thought it'd be fun to play the score again. So,
Yeah.
and so it was just before, like I said, just before 9/11. So here's the thing. During the Simon Zealot scene, that character was a radical. He was a complete radical. So we decided to make the entire show modern. So I rewrote the temple scene and made it a nightclub scene. So people were walking around with cell phones, and it was EDM music. And during the Simon Zealot scene, we turned him into a terrorist. So we had a machine gun on stage, and we turned it into a terrorist camp. So that is not something I could do ever again. It was obviously before 9/11. It was, but and it was a year before 9/11. It stood out because I got a chance to take an old musical and make it a modern and give it a new audience. So that was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. Highlight real for us some of the more notable people that you have worked with, because I know that you have a bit of a list of notable people that you've done productions or at least worked with.
I've been really lucky. I've had some students who have done really well. some of my students were, Justin Timberlake. I don't know if anybody's heard of him, or Jodie Benson, who was the voice of the Little Mermaid, or Mandy Moore. These are probably names you probably haven't heard of. They're students of mine originally. No, you know who they are. For me,
Well, let's back up. Let's pick one of them so that people know that you're not fluffy and,
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
pick one of them. Just elaborate on a story of how you had the opportunity to work with one of these individuals.
So for Justin Timberlake, I worked on breath control for him because he had been in NSYNC and he wanted to go on his own, and essentially they were worried about stamina for him, being able to do a whole concert on his own. And so I did a lot of breath support stuff with him. We legitimately worked on breath and being able to sing long enough to do a full concert and be able to tour. So for me, I was teaching him stamina.
Okay.
For Jodie Benson, she had just done Little Mermaid, and she was going to do a Broadway show. Once again, I was teaching her stamina. I was teaching her how to be able to work 6 days a week doing a show on Broadway, which is a big deal. And it's hard. It's hard work. Stamina is a hard thing for people to understand until you're in it. But nobody wants to put their money on the line for you to be in it if you can't handle it. So sometimes I get called in to say, hey, can you fix them?
So being a professional vocal coach, what would you say is the biggest differentiator between the person singing in their car versus the abilities of someone who's on stage in the limelight?
Work.
What you say are some of the biggest hard work?
Hard work. You got to put your time in. One of the things I was told, the first thing I was told when I went to college, I'll tell you what it was. They put all the performance people in one room, and they said the first thing you want to do in the morning is not, if you don't think about performing first and getting to rehearsals and working your rear end off, change your major. And I teach my students that all the time. If you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to work hard enough to make it real. There's a great place for people to be able to sing. There's karaoke, there's singing with your friends, there's around a campfire, all that kind of stuff. But if you want to work hard, and you want to never do it for money. If you're getting into entertainment for money, there's a very small percentage that get a chance to get that far. You have to have a passion for it, and you have to love it. I love it enough to do it all the time.
One of my mentors told me that there's a misconception that if someone gets into the arts as a profession, that there's a misconception that they're either one of two things: radically successful or a starving artist. But there are many people who thrive and exist in the in-between. What would you say to the people who have a passion for the arts, be it the medium of singing, painting, acting? What advice or what words would you like to share with those people that have that passion or would like to have some sustainability in it?
One of the big things I say is you'll always run into people again. So whatever happens in a production, make sure you leave it on good terms with everybody involved, because you never know if the cast member next to you next time round is going to be the person hiring you next time. Make sure that you're always building connections and thinking about your next job. The other thing I always say is make sure you're finding your next job before you start the job you're about to start. If you're going to make it a career of it, your jobs have to overlap. You have to be getting ready for your next job while you're working a job. Otherwise, you're going to be a waiter. And I have never been a waiter. I don't like food sitting on somebody's plate. I don't want to deal with any of that. So it's hard work finding your next job, and eventually they'll start calling you. But you've got to work to get your next job, and you've got to sell yourself. You got to learn how to promote yourself and promote what you do well, and so that people can find you and they want to know who you are. But if you don't put the work in to find the next job, you're just going to not have a job. They don't come to you. If you sit back and relax and wait and think, you know what, I'm talented, people are going to find me, they will not find you. There's too many people that are thirsty for it. And if you're thirsty enough, you're going to work for it.
You know, I find that normally the thirsty people are really unsuccessful. I see them on blast on Facebook all the time and Instagram. It's a blood.
Well, I'm not saying you got to have talent there too. You got to be able to have talent.
Talk about a totally different kind of thirst, my guy.
I'm not going there. I have a PG live. Leave me alone.
The PG live. Let's talk about your live stream, because I know for a fact that this isn't all just hot air. You legitimately bring your production value to your live streams. In fact, I think you are one of, if not the hardest working people on this app. Here's why: your show lineup and your dedication to it. Will you please go over with everyone the shows, the productions, the things that you have planned that you do on a regular basis?
Well, I decided if I was going to stream, I was going to stream with shows because I've been on the app long enough to realize that content is important, and also is making sure that you're creating something for your viewers that they want to hang around in. And so, first of all, I started with my show where you give a suggestion of a song and I'll play it for you, and that became very successful. One of my first viewers said, "You're like a human jukebox," so I kept the name. I think it's fantastic. So essentially, what happens in that show, I do that on Saturdays in the afternoon. Um, if people come in, they can name a song. I'll pull it up and I'll play it for them. Sometimes I'll sing for them, and it's just kind of fun. People are kind of amazed I can play anything, but that's work too. Learning how to sight read is a whole other story. We'll get that story another time. But learning how to sight read took me 2 years. Uh, but and then the show I do on Tuesdays, I call it Storytime Tuesday. Storytime Tuesday, and that's what happens there is essentially there are songs when we hear them, they bring back a memory. We hear them on the radio. We'll hear them on our iPad, and we'll hear we hear a song. We go, oh my god, I remember when I was here. I was with these people. I remember what I was wearing. I remember what I smelled. I remember all this stuff. And that show is fun because I get to know about my viewers. Because not only do they tell me what song, they've got to tell me the story of why it means so much to them. And it goes everywhere. Last night we had an amazing night because I had two autistic people in my life, and we got to learn a little bit about their lives, not just their autism, but the stuff they had gone through. And I just find all kinds of interesting things out that night, and I love that I get to know my viewers in a very special way that I never would get a chance to otherwise. On Thursdays, I normally do a name that tune, except what happens is it's around a theme. So last week was Disney, and so I'll play the song. So, because if you don't know, I have a keyboard. I actually do play piano. So what I'll do is I'll play the song, and then if they can't get it, I'll start getting clues, and then I'll start singing it, and they get a chance to do that. This Thursday is different because I do Unstoppable Idol, so we're doing a behind the curtain show, and so that gives you a chance to sort of see what I do as far as coaching. So you'll get to see me coaching tomorrow night the semifinalists for Unstoppable Idol. On Fridays, I do a showcase where it's usually people aren't noticing yet on the app. They're either new on the app or they just don't get enough attention yet. And I think they're talented. They have a cool story. So it's kind of it's kind of like if there was an empty nightclub and you could invite all your friends in to come and hang out, and then you ask questions about a topic. And so like this week it's going to be Woodstock because I don't know if anybody knows that, but this weekend is the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. So Friday night we're going to be hippies. I'm going to be exploring what it was like to be a hippie 50 years ago. But every Friday it's a different kind of thing. I've got 5 guests, and we sing and we vibe about just silly stuff during Christmas in July. And during Christmas in July, we did a. Sorry, Chris, you don't have time to ask questions. I just start talking.
I think that one of our other guests is running late. I couldn't have had a better person to be stuck here because, in fact, I have a bowl of popcorn. No.
Well, for Christmas in July, an example I did on the Friday show was I did Christmas Carol names, but with different words. So they had to sort of figure out what they were. So I kind of give my people a hard time when they're on the show, but it's all in fun and it's interactive with the audience. So for me, I want to create important content that people want to stick around for and have fun with. And they're not only enjoying it, but they're engaged in it. So that's my goal is to, and if they don't like it and they pick the topics, I think it's important for them to be engaged and decide what I'm doing. So as a streamer, I feel like we're hosting their show. I don't feel like it's my show. I feel like I'm doing a show for my viewers. So what do they want to see?
So again, going back to being the up-and-comer that we're featuring this week.
Yeah.
You don't have a badge, but I think you would be incredibly hard-pressed to find anyone who's trying to put together, plan, and arrange the amount of content that you do. which is by and large speaks volumes, I think, a bit about the community. No shade. But what to you would it mean to have a badge? What would you do with the badge?
You know, one of the things I've done on the app since I started was help streamers. I've helped them as being, I started out as a bouncer for a ton of people, and the people I was a bouncer for, they weren't top streamers. Chris, I was one of your first viewers. I was one of Ben's first viewers. I was one of Joey's first viewers. Many top badges who are not top badges. I was one of their bouncers, and for me, you have a platform as a top badge to help other people, and so whether that be helping them learn how to stream better, create new content, or whether that be just listening to them and saying, "Hey, I've been through it." My DMs, I read every one of them. My DMs, if I get a top badge or wherever I am on this app, I will never make my DMs where you can't send me a DM. Every week I go through them. I don't leave them unread. At some point I'll get to them. I can guarantee you sometimes I don't get to them immediately, but I read every one of them every week. Sometimes I go, oops, and I report. I'm just saying, if I get a picture and I don't want to see it, I will report you and send you to the app because I don't need to hear all that stuff. But I do respond to my Snapchats, my Instagram messages, and my DMs because for me, I love this app. I got on the app as this will fill time. I just finished doing some theater camps. I thought, you know what? I'm going to check out this app. And a few streams, I was like, oh, well, this is boring. And I found a couple that I loved. And I was like, I love this app. What I love about it is it's a community. And it really is. Like, I love the people on this app. Chris, I've hung out with you. I've hung out with so many people on this app in real life. I hung out last weekend with Top Badge Bailey and Fox and Daddy Shark. And they're dear friends. You guys are dear friends. You're not just people I see on the app. You're people I can pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on? And that is something very special. And so for me, as a top badge, I want to keep that going. I want to keep the vibe going and just be one of those other people you can reach out to and say, hey, Hashi, what's going on? And I want to be that. I want to be that person that people keep coming to. So
definitely, Hashi. I think it'd be a lot of fun for everyone to have a little bit of a demonstration.
Hi, everybody. I know we're not supposed to do it, but hi, everybody. Okay, go ahead.
I think it'd be fun for everyone if we could have a demonstration of your human jukebox qualities. So I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
But in the comments, someone wants to throw a love bear. Okay, that champagne, Abby or Ambi or somebody. If you have a suggestion for Hashi, actually run it like your show. Tell them what to do.
Okay. So if you're interested in hearing a song, I'd love to hear it. Why you could toss in the title as well as who wrote it. It's helpful for me to find it. Sometimes if you give me the title and you give me the composer, the title's wrong, I can't find it sometimes. So did somebody send a gift that we wanted to acknowledge? Because I got a few. I've got Crazy Train and Do It For Me If You Trust Me. Did somebody send, who sent the champagne?
Ambi did.
Ambi did? And
Ambi, take it away. Go ahead and pick something.
Ambi, pick a spot. Pick a spot.
Pick a song.
Take a break. Oh, pick any song. Any song. By general rules, is pick any song for the last 100 years, please. I don't feel like doing Chopin tonight.
Okay, well, we're waiting on that. Do you have a favorite genre to perform?
Whatever the money's good for. Honestly, Chris, at this point, I've done so many different genres. It really is just what I'm getting paid for. I don't do screamo very well, Chris. I'll leave that to you. And I'm not the best country singer, so I prefer not to get gigs in those. But everything else, I'm pretty open to.
Okay, that's fine. All right, hang on. Did we get a song?
I don't think we did.
All right. No, okay. I'm sorry, Ambi. If anyone picked one, I'm sorry. We're just gonna throw one out. So the next song that okay, Ambi, type it one more time, and Hashi will go ahead and do it. No, Ambi, type it one more time, please. Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
It's Kashmir by who? It's Led Zeppelin.
All right, can you do Milkshake?
Can I do Milkshake?
Milkshake. There's an overwhelming amount of milkshake in the stream, so why not? Yeah.
I did Bohemian Rhapsody last night. That is a fun song.
But
You
can
want
you do?
Bohemian Rhapsody? Milkshake. Okay, let me look. I was looking at Cashmere. Yeah, hold on. Milkshake. Is there anything? I think I did that for Chris once. I think I did that for Eric once. I think actually. Hold on. If I was able to find it. Oh my goodness, Milkshake of all songs.
While you're searching, everyone, please give. Did you find it already?
No, I'm looking.
Okay. Everyone, while we're waiting for Hashi to find Milkshake, a song for the ages, please make sure that you're giving him a favorite. He's one of the most talented individuals and one of the most organized and thoughtful individuals that's on the app. Has fantastic advice, fantastic talent, which you're about to hear in just a moment. Please give this guy a favorite. Where are we at, Hashi?
It's loading. It's loading. I'm on a loading screen right now. So
Okay.
for the loading screen, I'll do this. They do that key change. Okay. It really is not opening. Taking a minute. I'm so sorry.
Fine.
It's
What do you
opening up
have?
the VH1 100 Greatest Hits.
Okay,
Oh,
so
here
what
it
do
is.
you have?
Here it is.
What-
Here it is. A milkshake brings all the world to the girl.
Does it have the lyrics?
I have the lyrics don't really have they're written. They don't have any notes. But I have this is the bass part. And then it goes. Yeah, it's
Great.
not really a fun. It's a la 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 da 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 la 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 la. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
there you go. There you go.
Yogi Bear
Exactly a fun
alive currently? Is Yogi Bear here? Yes, no? Call him once for Yogi Bear. Does anyone know? I heard he was running late. He's coming. Okay. All right. We'll go and push it for a sec. All right, Hashi. Let's talk about some of your experiences with meeting people from the app. What has that been like?
I'll tell you, the first time I went to Playlist last year, and I was roaming around Playlist, looking at all the different things. I thought, I'm going to run into somebody to meet me at some point. And I was in one of the large rooms, and all of a sudden, Kat and Eric, and I heard from across the room, "Is that Hashi?" And I was in line looking at T-shirts, and they came running over, and I got a chance to meet them right off the bat. It was just it was brilliant because and we just loved on each other, and and it was Tay Tay, and it was Kat, and it was Eric, and it was kind of fun to be like, "It's Hashi," and they ran over, and it was kind of fun. That was
that's
my first experience.
that's excellent. So, do you plan to go to Playlist next year? If anyone's interested in meeting you, will you be there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will be there. I've already, a group of us have already rented a house. So we will be there ready to go at Playlist. Everybody come in. We're staying for a week. So come in ready to party and have some fun. Playlist is lit. Please consider coming to Playlist because it's a great place not only to network with people, but it's an amazing place to meet all these people you love on the app. Because I know you guys love these people on the app. There's a reason why you come out here every night and you find out you go to your favorite people. It's because you love them. So come and meet them because a lot of us will be at Playlist.
Definitely, definitely. Okay. I guess we can do another musical suggestion while we wait for Yogi Bear. Unless
I could do the song I close all my lives with. I
go
do
for
one
it.
song every live at the end. So they're wanting Bohemian Rhapsody. You want Bohemian Rhapsody? I was going to do my Cheers theme, but Bohemian Rhapsody is a long song. Okay, type one for everybody who's in here. Type one if you want Bohemian Rhapsody, and two if you want the Cheers theme. It's pretty mixed. Oh my god. Okay, can I do both? I don't know if I can do. Making the way in the world today is everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Still going. When you like to get away. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You wanna go where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Just killed a man with a gun against his head. Sorry, I went to Bohemian Rhapsody. I tried to give everybody a bit of their choices. But,
Yeah, it was good. That was good. That was very good. Um, well, we may have to run just another 10 minutes here with you. Normally we close up at 10:30, but we'll see what Yogi is. Yogi here? Did I see Yogi is
here?
Excellent. Hashi, hit us with some closing statements, my guy. Anything that you want to shout out, anything that you're passionate about, anything that you'd like to close with that you'd like everyone to know.
I would say nurture relationships in your life, whether it be on the app or in real life. Nurture the people that are around you because you never know when you're going to need them. Love on each other. Treat everybody with respect because life is too short, and you can have an amazing experience in this life here on this earth if you treat everybody with respect and you love on them and you learn about them. When you pass somebody on the street, when you see a homeless person on the street and they got a cup out and they're wanting change, ask them about their lives. Sit down next to them and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Because people ignore them. There are so many people in this world that get ignored. Don't ignore the next person you talk to. I'm the guy who gets uncomfortable in an elevator, and I meet everybody in the elevator. I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Da, da, da. Because everybody sometimes just wants to. He farts. Flushed. Sometimes, sometimes just taking the time to listen is important and will make somebody's day. So my recommendation to everybody tomorrow is sometime pick somebody out, whether when you go to the grocery store and you talk to the cash register person, or whether you're at 7-Eleven and you're picking up something, ask them how their day is. They've been sitting there all day long, and nobody probably ever asked them how they are. They might tell you, and you'll make their day for it.
Excellent. Beautiful closing words, my friend. Everyone, please, if you can, round of applause from your phones or your seats for Mr. Hashi. Great talent. Give this guy a favorite. Definitely should be on your radar. All right. Thank you so much, Hashi, for coming on. It's a pleasure.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, my friend. Good to see you. Excellent job, Hashi. All right. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, we're going to keep pressing along here. We've got our final guest of the night, just in the nick of time. Yogi Bear, welcome to the box, my friend. How you doing today?
Oh, what's up? How you doing, Chris? I'm feeling good.
It's good, man. It's good to see you again.
True, man. How you feeling?
Life's been good. I mean, I like to go ahead and crack into things here. So, for the people who haven't met you before, who haven't had the honor, right? Will you please introduce yourself to everyone?
Well, they call me the one and only Yogi B. Bear. You feel me? Yogi the Bear, Yogi Bear, as most of my fans call me, Zaddy Yogi. That's what they call me, but everybody can call me Yogi. I mean,
Okay. Where does the name Yogi Bear come from?
Honestly, it comes from the old cartoon Yogi Bear, Voodoo Bear, Ranger.
Okay. Do you just have a like for Yogi Bear, or do you feel like you look like Yogi Bear? You act like Yogi Bear? You're as tall as Yogi Bear? What's the deal with Yogi Bear?
Honestly, people have told me like I resemble Yogi Bear by like my character. You feel me? Like I'm
Okay.
just funny, humble type of person, and it's just like I guess some people say I'm like a cuddly type of person.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah. Cuddly personality is never a bad personality to have. So I'll roll with it. I roll with it. So Yogi Bear, what was life like for you before you were on the app? Were you pretty busy? Were you hanging out, just trying to figure out what you wanted to do? What kept you busy before you were on Meet Me?
I mean, I was busy because like I mean I got kids, I had a life. I mean, I was out of college actually. Like I just had came back from college, and like when you're in the college life, it was more about the Twitter thing. So I was like more on the Twitter and interacting with everybody. And then I was like in track prac. I was doing track when I was out in college, so that really took most of my time.
What type of track were you doing? Were you doing like sprints, long distance?
I was a sprinter. Anything 400.
Excellent, excellent. Were you fast? Were you pretty good?
Oh yeah, definitely. If I didn't have any kids, I mean, not saying it's a bad thing, I probably would have made it to the Olympics.
One more time, will you say that louder, please? I couldn't hear you.
I said if it wasn't like not saying like it's a bad thing, but if it wasn't for my like kids, if I didn't have kids, I probably would have made it to the Olympics.
To made it to what?
The Olympics.
The
Yeah,
Olympics. Do you have any headphones laying around?
there is no headphones laying around.
There's none. Okay.
Nah.
Okay, I thought maybe it'd help with the sound, but we'll roll with it. That's fine.
Okay.
Wow, an Olympian. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But obviously life's good for you. I mean, things are going well. So you mentioned that you have kids, which are definitely important to you. Um, has anything exciting happened recently for you? I know that you mentioned a couple of things to me.
Um. I mean, what exciting that's been happening lately is basically like my daughter just started second grade. That's like the most recent. She just started yesterday.
That's really cool. How has that
So.
been as a parent to see the transition of someone grow up like that?
Yeah, man, I just feel, look, I'm getting old.
You feel old?
Look, it, it feels great though. I ain't even gonna lie.
Okay. Um, well, let's go ahead and bounce back then to the Meet Me conversation. So you said that you were in college and that you had downloaded. So why did you initially download Meet Me? What was the point of you having the app?
I mean, I was just like roaming around, and then I popped into it. Didn't nobody tell me nothing about it. It's just like I ran into it, and it was just like, let me see what this is,
Hmm.
and it's have live streaming, and you feel me? Everybody was doing like the Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and I really wasn't into living, but I was just like, let's try this out. So,
Sure. So what was it like when you first started? Did you feel like you snapped right into it? Did you view people? Did you do it right away? What was your process?
I mean, honestly, I just hopped on live. Like, I was just like, let's see what this can do. You feel me?
Hmm. Yeah. And how'd it go? I mean, were people receptive from the get-go?
I mean, it took me about, I'll say probably like a month into it. And then next, I believe his name was Andrew, just popped in there. And then after that, it just took off.
Hmm. Okay. How long ago was this? How long did you join?
December.
Okay, December. So December of 2018, that's not long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do in your live streams, or do you think there's something that you do uniquely that has drawn people to you or that's helped make you successful?
I mean, honestly, I feel as if like I do the like I don't you feel me. Whenever somebody send me a gift, it's like I make it creative. Like I make people want to gift me, and I like make people want to interact with me.
Okay.
Like it's just like make my family like laugh. Honestly, like I don't know if you remember the Super Bowl gifts, the Ram and the what was it, the Patriot.
Hmm.
Like basically like if anybody sent a ram, I basically like had to ram the phone, and like people were sending me like 1,000 of them, and like they like literally call it the Yogi ram.
Did you give yourself a concussion because you're like,
Yes, definitely. So it was like definitely I just thought of some creative ways so like people wouldn't just like feel like it's just a use to sending it.
I understand. I understand. Okay. What have you had any struggles as a streamer? Has it been easy? Do you feel like sometimes it gets a little difficult for you to get on?
I mean, everybody has that struggle, but I mean, like with me, I feel as if like whenever I decide to like take a break, I feel like I get cussed. I mean, not like cussed out, but like my people like just like they'd rather come at me than disappear. Like I'd rather, you feel me? But other than that, like yeah. See,
They check in and see if you're okay, right?
basically,
Your come at me is my I'm checking on you. It's like it's a give and take situation.
but I mean, other than that, I mean, the other downfall I really have is if, I mean, it's not really no downfall, honestly, because we just be chilling in our life. Whenever like people come and be like the regulars.
Okay. Yeah, I mean
So,
that's good. Have you had an opportunity to connect or meet with any of the people that you consider to be like your family or your regulars or the people who come at you? Have you met with any of them?
oh yeah, I didn't. Oh my God, yeah, I didn't met like actually a couple people since I'm like in Chicago. Like I've met AK. I've went to Detroit and I've met like 10 people where we then came together. We didn't spent the whole weekend together. Like I actually interact with the people that you feel me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Have you gone to any of the special events like Playlist, VidCon, anything like
I
that?
just came from VidCon. It was like it was a nice experience. I can say that it was a very nice experience. Something
Hmm.
new.
You met a lot of streamers at that too, didn't you?
Look, I was kind of like shocked at how many streamers that was there and how
Yeah,
many people eat. So it was definitely a good experience meeting all the streamers.
yeah. I mean, Chicago's not close to Anaheim, California, which is where that is. So, I mean, were you nervous to take that trip? Had you ever done anything like that before?
Before that being my longest trip, it was Arizona. I went to Arizona before then. So I mean it was an okay trip. I mean I've been this is the most year that I've like traveled anywhere, so it's technically like a good experience overall.
Definitely, definitely. So now that you've had your top badge for a little bit and that you've been streaming, have you noticed any differences between when before you were a top streamer and now that you are a top streamer?
I mean technically, yeah, I mean it been some differences. It definitely been some differences. Um there's new people coming around.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
definitely like some new people coming around. Like overall, like I mean, the experience has been the same because like not to like say anything bad about it, but like I've been like after the top badges like ever since I've been on here. So
Okay.
like as far as like 1,000 views and stuff, so it's just like other than that, you getting like noticed more. Like you get to experience more things. So I mean, the badge is definitely a good. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get all my peeps to get bad, like freaking Big Head AK.
You want to support them? Excellent, excellent.
Bag.
What would you share with the people who are trying to earn their top badge? What would you suggest to them, or what advice do you have for them?
Honestly, I would say like just be yourself. Don't let the badge even change because at the end of the day, we're still technically all just streamers. I mean, it's very like how can you say it motivational to want the badge, but as soon as you got the badge, it's just like, hey, what's next? So like, be creative, be yourself, be humble. Don't let the notice like don't let the clout like get to you because it's not really
Yeah.
not fun. So just be yourself. That's all.
So you feel like being yourself is the key for the people who don't have it, though. For the people who are trying to get it but haven't gotten it. I mean, is there anything that do you feel like they could do different, or ideas that you have for them?
I mean, it's just the same thing. Be creative. You got to be a creative person to have people come back. And
Yeah.
like, if be creative on the different things that Meet Me throws at you, especially with the gifts or anything. Like any new person that comes in, it's just like that definitely makes you, you feel me, want that top badge even more.
Yeah.
Because it's really like people look up to you, and it kind of like it surprises me on how many people come to me and just tells me like, oh, like you made my day better or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely motivating to want that up under your belt.
So you mentioned ramming your head for the Rams as something you had done that was creative. Are there any other things that come to mind that you've done that have been creative, or things that you've done differently?
There's the Patriot. When somebody had sent the Patriot, I did the Captain Morgan for 3 seconds.
Okay, right on. So basically, you're saying make the gifts that people give you interactive. When
Yeah,
someone,
like people just laugh at me. Like it just basically made the laugh way more better.
awesome, awesome, awesome.
Oh
So
yeah, well, and the noodle guy. I forgot all about the noodle guy.
what's the noodle guy?
Oh, when the noodle guy, when you and you did when they sent, yeah, that they
Okay,
definitely that one.
I see it. I see it. I see it. Okay, okay. Um, you mentioned, so you did mention that you have a family and things that keep you busy that way. Does anything else take up your time besides going live and your family? Do you have any hobbies or interests?
I like to go running. I mean, I do a lot of art. No, 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 no. I do a lot of art. Um, I basically my regular job is I do home renovation, so I like to do a lot of handyman stuff.
Hmm.
So stuff in that process. I like to be in the nature too. Like, but there is some other hobbies.
Yeah, I need to touch on two things because we just had two things come up. So the first one, what is this? What is that?
I mean that just you feel me. Soon as me and Sugar got together, it was just like it just connected. He just like ha na 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 na, and then I just said it on my live, and it was just like ha na 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 na. So whenever something is funny, we just say instead of ha ha ha, we say ha na 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 na. It's just
Okay,
something.
I think I get it. So you've got like the ha na 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 na, and I've got like my like
Oh,
"Caw." So like there's like a difference, right? Like you can do the ha na na na
right.
na, and I can be like "Caw," and it's a signal.
Ah.
It's like code. It's an in thing. It's an in thing. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Like a brother thing, only brotherly love.
Only only brotherly love. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm just
So
playing. I already said this thing, you feel me? Chris called.
well, I also, I mean, not to make it about me, but I do have the clap, the Chris clap. But we're not gonna make this about me. I want to talk about your art. You mentioned that
No, 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 no. What's the Chris clap?
it's exactly that. So, would you like to learn the Chris clap?
I would love to learn this Chris clap.
It's good. It's good. So, in order to do the Chris clap, you gotta have your hand like this. You gotta keep it strong. You gotta keep it
I
strong.
bet.
Gotta keep it strong. Now, have it cupped a little bit. You see how there's my palm has a little cup in it there?
I bet.
All right. And you get the hand there, and you gotta shake your head.
Oh, uh,
Shake your head side to side.
oh,
Good, good, good. And that's a Chris clap. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Strong.
that's
All right. So tell me about your artwork. What is your there's no comments. What tell me about this artwork. Tell me about this artwork that you do. What kind of art are you into?
um. I mean, I used to do from sketch to ceramics. I've tried painting, but I'm not really good at painting. So, I mean, I started art when I was in like third grade. Like my first art thing was like this little African doll, and I
Hmm.
still have it. It's just in the garage. I don't know why I didn't grab it, but basically, it's like I made this in third grade, and it made it to the library, like as like a showcase in the library. So
Yeah, like where your parents get invited and y'all come down and look at it.
yeah, like it was kind of crazy. So after that, it just like took off. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna start sketching. I'm gonna see what I can do with that. And
Right.
next school, I started shading, and it just went up from there.
I like it. I like it. So, Yogi Bear, as we move into the last segment or the last portion of our conversation, is there anything that you're passionate about? Anything that while you're here, people are here to watch. Is there anything that you're passionate about or like to share or talk about? Anything that you'd like to go over?
I mean, honestly, the best thing that I like seeing is like creating like friendships within the inner people that I talk to on a daily. Like just seeing them, because that's honestly the like one of the main reasons why I've like wanted to get a top badge. Because before I was trying to wait until a couple of people got their top badge just to have like to show support because I love them like that. But like it definitely like helps because like people wouldn't bump into people on a regular basis, and like people come in my life and they definitely like vibe together and they give good advice to each other. So it definitely like encouraged me to keep going at it the way that I'm going because they love each other. Sometimes it be making them jealous because they be giving each other more attention than it gives me. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay, that's good. That means you're fostering a community. When you foster a
Exactly.
community, I think you've done something right. So do you have any a schedule? Is there a schedule? Do you have a routine of when you go live, or if people have enjoyed this conversation, when can they find you live?
I mean, technically, I just pop in when I pop in. I don't really work on a set schedule for myself. Usually, I just go live whenever I got the time to, because who knows when I'm busy, especially being a father.
Uh, wait,
You can
I
go
just
live.
I just want to know when I can like no 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 no. It's like, that's because I can roll my R, like I can roll my R's, but like I'm like like
Okay, this one thing he said, God damn.
Damn, I like that. It's like we're starting our cars or something.
Oh,
Damn, I like that. That's good.
but like, okay, like the most time you probably can find me live is early morning or like probably like right after when everybody get off, probably like 4 or 5 o'clock. Nah, we not finna say that wavy. We gonna keep that down low. And then like probably late at night. Well, usually at night, probably like 10 through like 2 o'clock. I usually be live.
I
But
like it. I
catch me
got
when my notes pop up. I'll pop up whenever.
I gotta know before you go, are we missing any Yogi Bearisms? I mean, we've got no 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 no. Like we got, are there any that we're missing that we should know?
Okay, see, a lot of people, this is what I say. I say with two of them, you feel me? Two of them.
Okay,
You gotta say, what's up, Shorty?
me?
Yeah, you gotta say,
I'll
what's
look,
up, Shorty?
I'll look like B-Rad from Malibu's Most Wanted if I. I'll be out here going, what is
Okay,
shorty? And it's,
yes. No, okay, now y'all, now see, look, now y'all giving up my whole vocabulary now.
all
They
right.
try
Okay, go for it. Okay, so what up, shorty? Is that's one, right? Okay, so what else you
to say on phone now.
got? Come again?
On, say on phone now. You gotta say it in one word on phone now.
I can't afford them. Is that like
Oh Lord, Jesus.
on on phone? What?
Come on, say it with me. On phone now.
On phonem?
Now say it in one word. On phone now.
On phonem?
You say it better than Royale. Oh,
On phone? What? What does on phonem mean? It's like
that
it
means
sounds like someone's trying to say like a grammatical term like may I have the definition of an onphonem, please? Yes, it takes the place of a suffix. It's like what? No, what's an onphonem?
up in the vocabulary.
What is
It'll say you and your boys. That's what on phone now mean. Your boys. The people you cool with.
okay,
It's a
so like my
man.
people, like my friends, my people, like okay, so use it in a sentence.
Like, man, on phone them grave, I'm finna go chill with my peoples over there.
You
Okay, I think I'm too much for this, y'all.
I want to break this down real quick of the structure of the sentence. On phone with my what and the who?
On phone them, on phone them, I'm finna go chill with my homies and them.
On
Phone
phone
them.
I'm finna go chill with my homies and them.
He just that
It's like a
drippy.
cringe fest. Like I'm trying to say it, it just sounds so bad, man. Like, um, um,
Nah, you doing it just right. I still don't understand it. I guess y'all would just never understand. Yo, my freaking phone definitely dying.
well,
No, definitely slacking.
Yogi, can we be on phone him?
Yeah, shoot. I mean, the shit. I met you in person, so technically you like a brother to me. So yeah, you on phone now.
That's true. We did meet in person. I had a nice time with you.
He a cool man. Make sure all y'all Bear Gang people in here favor my man Chris. Make sure you favor him.
All
What
right.
up?
Let's put it all together like an episode of Schoolhouse Rock, okay? We're going to take all the words we learned today and put them together. All right, so here you've taught me. I've got this. So someone comes in. Na, 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 na. What's up, Grave fam? Nim. We,
Yes, sure.
what's the last one?
A bad. Okay, you got to do it after me. A bad girl come in. You feel me? You gotta
Oh,
say,
okay. So
no. What's up?
someone
Good
comes
with you,
in. So certain
my
someone comes in.
girl.
I go, jeez. Okay. All right. So a certain someone comes in.
I
Okay, Hana Shorty. Phone out grave Hana Nim Anamana PFM.
Oh. uh,
And you hit him with the Chris clap. That's right, my guy.
that's how we do it around here. You feel me? Do the Chris clap, y'all. Gang.
If you're looking to be some Hananim, make sure you favorite my guy Yogi Bear here, please, everyone. He will all you shorties in the
All you
respectful way.
shorty.
Do you pronounce the R?
Yeah, it's a shouty and then it's a shorty.
Oh, differentiate, please.
Yeah. Shouty, that's kind of like the don't call a female a shouty. Say shorty.
So, if it's polite etiquette, if you see a love,
Yeah, like shouty.
say hello, shorty.
Like shorty is basically like calling a female sexy. Shorty is like calling a female beautiful.
I've been told by many women, I'm tired of guys calling me shorty. Can I just be someone shorty?
On the gang. Let's go.
Oh, dead.
On the gang, nigga, that go. Chris, I bet that hurt.
Hang on. So I learned something new today. I didn't know there was a difference. I thought shorty or shoddy. Okay, so a certain unsavory individual would look at a group of women and go, look at them shorties. But a gentleman would say, what's up, shorties?
Bruh, Chris is a dog. Hey, he a boss.
No.
A boss. That's a boss
I like
right there. We gonna have to hit up the downtown area one day. Chris he gonna take the lead though. I'm right behind you, Chris. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like I just got 900 times cooler, which anything multiplied by 0 is still 0. So we're working on it. Thank you so much, Yogi Bear, for coming on, man. You taught us so much tonight, and I had a killer time with you.
Man, appreciate you. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. All y'all stay up for this, man. You feel me? Show this man mad love. Love. Chris, have a blessed night, broski.
Oh, give me that one. Thank you so much, my guy. Have a good one. Good times. Everyone, please give Yogi Bear a favor. If you had a good time, if you want to learn more proper etiquette with your street language, make sure that you give that guy a favorite because he's a good guy. I like him. Right? Everyone, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I had a fantastic time with you. Don't go anywhere because I'm going to announce who we've got on next week, okay? So if this was your first time here, you may have noticed that I didn't acknowledge the comments. It's because during the interviews with exactly, now I can acknowledge it. Thank you so much to Deadpool for coming on. Thank you so much to Hashi for coming on. Thank you so much to Yogi Bear for coming on tonight. All of you were fantastic. Had a great time with you. Each of you brought different laughs, different experiences, and different stories. Did not fall short of a fantastic night. If you have interest in being on the show, if you know someone, then you would like to have them featured on the show. We do this every Wednesday. Come on, have a good time. Invite your friends, talk to your people, talk to your hononym. Your hononyms. I swear, a hononym is something in grammar. I promise you a hononym is. Okay, anyway. Synonym's a thing too, but hononym is also a thing. All right, so who do we have on the show next week? How do you get on the show? Go ahead and send me a message on Instagram. I'll ask you a little bit about how long you've been on the app, your viewer base, diamonds, things like that. All right, so next week, who do we have on the show? We have one open spot. So I have a spot to fill. But other than that, we have Zachary. Zachary, I saw him earlier in the comments. Zachary, if you'd like to say comments, some people can give you a favorite now. Check you out ahead of time. Go ahead. We've got Zachary here. There he is right there, still here. He said still here. So we're going to have Zachary on. Met him while I was at VidCon. Absolute gentleman. Fantastic conversationalist. Has a lot to share. Excited for you all to hear his story. We also have on the live show next week an absolute legend. An absolute legend. Everybody here knows him. His name's Mac. My guy can sing. He's as handsome as it gets, and he can fix things. He can fix things. Like he just got these carpentry skills. Like my guy, leave something for the rest of us. Like please, he's too much. He's too much. So everyone, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for talking. I told you, Hashi came in with it. See, I knew my senior English class had something. I learned things. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I had a pleasure with you. My name's Chris. We do this every Wednesday. I'll see you next time.